What's a dying industry that no one realizes? These shoe shining stores in NYC can't understand how they afford the rent. Notice how they've expanded their service offerings. They sell umbrellas, cut keys, replace watch batteries, fix handbags, and whatever else they can come up with. Dude, some of those guys are wizards. Cobbler used to be a job, but now my cobbler is a locksmith, a phone repair guy, a seamstress, an engraver, and about 14 other things. It's got to the point that I just go to him whenever I feel like I need help. Printers. Which is weird to say as I'm a printer repair tech. But yeah, they are slowly dying out. My company has started diversifying into other areas because we literally had a drop of like 60% last year. That's because the ink comes in weird-ass proprietary cartridges designed to make it unnecessarily expensive, resulting in costs so high that you barely save over hiring a professional printing service for your needs. Then the printer is made to break within 3 years of buying it. Forestry. Last I heard in the US, the average age of a forester was over 50 plus. It sucks because I really wanted to get a degree in ecology and work at a national park. But when I researched the wages and looked into how many permanent jobs were available, the math just didn't add up for me. I'd owe too much in student loans, and I would have to move constantly because all of the work was seasonal. It's very unfortunate. The teen magazine industry. I used to read them and there were so many, but now they're just gone. They're either online or non-existent. I really think that due to the internet and social media, the purpose of those magazines is obsolete, to say the least. I used to have subscriptions to so many of the teen magazines, Cosmo Girl, 17, YM, Teen Vogue. Now I can barely focus on magazines. It all seems so trite. Former strip club DJ then manager here. Strip clubs are dying. Hip-hop keeps the strip club industry alive right now, because it's great for your Instagram to be throwing money at the stage while Future mumbles over the PA. But it's a whole lot different to be an entertainer now. In the early 2000s and before, the strip club industry was thriving, because you couldn't just go on your phone and watch the most taboo thing you could think of. You had to get in your car and spend a whole lot of money on dancer after dancer after dancer before you found someone who was okay with you thinking she looked like, for instance, your granddaughter. Unfortunately, that came up a whole lot more than you would think. But if the girl was depraved enough to act out that fantasy, she has a customer for life. Now every pervert that wants to see something taboo just needs to go to the hub and look through videos till they see whatever entices them. Add all that to economic issues and the shutdown. I went from $85,000 a year to $28,000 a year because I had to change industries. Your local satin doll or bazookas just isn't going to be around too much longer. This post was a ride for someone who has never been to a strip club and will never go to one. Limitless paper in a paperless world. Shoe repair stores. Hopefully the new generation will return to them. The same people who call for right to repair and don't want to be wasteful should start getting their shoes fixed. I tried. A lot of modern shoes are apparently unrepairable according to my nearest shoe repair store. That no one realizes. Newspapers, yellow pages, malls. Everyone has known these are dying for over a decade. Where I live there is a mall that is booming. It makes zero sense. The other malls in the area have died, been flipped outwards to large single stores, or are in their death throes, but this one, it perseveres. You drive by on any given weeknight, and it has a good amount of cars in the parking lot. You go by on the weekend, it's packed. You go inside and it's like something out of my childhood in the 90s, kids, adults, tons of people. I don't get it. I legit just don't get it. Function halls. We've had 3 close in the last 4 years and COVID isn't helping. Most people just have events at really nice hotels or have smaller weddings at barns, etc. One of the best weddings I ever went to was held in a barn, actually a machine shop. They covered the equipment, moved things around to make a dance floor, and brought in some folding tables. One of the groom's buddies cooked barbecue, and it was BYOB. The couple, second marriage for both, looked so happy and had a great time. It was such a low-key, low-pressure event. Everyone enjoyed themselves very much, and it was a lot of fun. Standardized test companies. There are many of them because they used to send out tens of thousands of paper copy tests. School districts are leaning more towards online testing, meaning one company can cover hundreds of thousands of people. Drive shaft repair balancing. The one repairman we had in the city closed his doors because he had a high demand, but no one else works there, and no one has the patience it takes to learn it and do it. He got tired of his customers not being patient enough to sit on his wait list. Radio. Remember when we waited for our favorite songs to come up, waited for shows and gossips on them, or their top 10 songs chart? These days are gone. Priesthood. I had this conversation with my devout Catholic mom. My uncle, a priest, was unable to take vacation 3 years ago because they didn't have coverage for services. I mentioned that until they have more updated rules regarding priests' ability to marry or women able to hold mass, this is going to keep happening. Big part of it is Ireland. For most of the 20th century, Ireland pumped out priests at an insane rate, essentially exporting priests around the world. With declining religiousness in a post-Troubles Ireland no longer recruits enough priests to cover their domestic attrition rate, let alone sending them around the world. Beekeeping. Beekeepers are older and retiring. Young people are saddled with debt and are not interested in so much work. Also problems such as bee colony collapse disorder taking out over 20% of beehives. Beekeepers can make over $100,000 a year, by the way. Bees are essential to agriculture, though would most certainly be in demand. I was told this info by an old beekeeper in California. Honey sales are only part of the business. The money is made by renting your beehives to farmers. Plants must have bees for pollination. Your actual work is loading and unloading beehives and traveling hundreds of miles up and down your state and setting out beehives. No passive income. Setting up a few hives behind your apartment is not going to make you rich. It is a business, an investment is at risk, and it's hard work in the hot sun. My personal opinion means nothing. Talk to your county agriculture agent or any farming people you can find. They are all friendly folks and can give you some idea what the needs are. State universities have agriculture departments, they will have good information also. If this post inspires you in the future, best of luck. How the fuck does one even get into beekeeping? I've commented below about my own apiary, but getting into beekeeping requires the following to be successful. 1. Read, watch all and everything you can about beekeeping. 2. Join a local beekeeping club. 3. Buy the hives, tools, equipment, and safety gear before buying your bees. 4. Buy a package of bees online to be delivered, a nuke to be picked up locally, or a full colony from a local beak. 5. Read more about beekeeping. 6. Hang out and observe your bees. I spend hours each week with my colonies simply observing their complex social behaviors. 7. Read more about beekeeping. 8. Enjoy the honey. Also, one no one thinks of as arcade game technician. There are already very few of these around, and it's a dying breed. I know a few and they are older and ready to retire, and there really aren't any that are young. If there are some that are young, we are talking very few and far between. This was a very common job in the 1980s when arcades were booming. Someone had to keep the machines running. It's also very difficult to become an arcade game technician. You can't exactly go to school for it. There is probably only one traveling school in the USA that teaches this sort of thing. And even now it's more like being a casino slot machine technician. If you want to learn old school arcade game repair techniques, you have to find someone who is older who is willing to teach you, and that will be very difficult. Casual cameras. Especially digital cameras. Smartphones generally have a similar quality, and you already have one. They have integrated flash drives anyway. You don't need to own a camera to take pictures. The casual market for them will die, obviously. Professional cameras will still be around, but they're an extreme niche. You won't buy a several $1,000 camera to take vacation pictures. There are some uses for them though. I keep one around for traveling, so if we want a photo we can ask strangers to take one for us without handing them a $1,000 smartphone. I think the funeral business has priced themselves out of the market for the traditional embalming and burial that costs 5 figures. I know some conservative, religious family members that opted for cremation just because of the cost. It shouldn't really be a surprise because retail itself is dying, but phone shops. I used to work at a flagship store and our targets stayed more or less the same for 3 years. However, each month it got harder to hit. People know they can go online, be confident that they're not getting tricked into something additional they don't want, and in some cases, get a significantly better deal. I'm traditionally someone that likes to shop in person, particularly with clothes and electronics. COVID has killed my appetite to go to large indoor shopping centers or be confined in smaller spaces with strangers, so now I only shop online. Had it not been for the pandemic, I'd probably still be shopping in person. Quality, durable furniture. You ever talk to your grandparents about some of the pieces of furniture in their house, and some of them have an extensive history in the family? Like a glass-top coffee table or a nice oak table and chairs? That's because we used to make furniture in America that actually withstood the test of time. When you bought furniture, you weren't buying it just for yourself, but to also pass down through generations because the quality was that good. My grandparents' original dining room set sits in my house now, and the thing is almost 70 years old. We don't make furniture like that anymore. Not because the industry didn't want to, but because disposable furniture became the new norm. Not only is it cheaper, but nobody wants furniture that they have to look after and store and figure out how to move across the country. Our desire to break away from sturdy, well-made furniture in favor of convenience has effectively killed the American furniture industry and put us on a road towards higher deforestation rates and less safety in our own homes. What's a dying industry that no one realizes? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.